This is a global original podcast from Classic FM.
When you think of rock stars, you probably think of Mick Jagger, or Debbie Harry, or my favourite rocker Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks. But these old farts were late to the party. The first true rock star smashed his way onto the scene hundreds of years before Debbie Harry was born. And hundreds of years before... Hang on, wait, how old is Mick Jagger? Was he born in 1811? No. He looks like it. Anyway, what's the name of this original rock legend? It's Liszt. Franz Liszt. So, what was life like back in 1811? Well, let me tell you, it was pretty rock and roll.
Morning.
Morning. How are you?
Bored. How are you?
I am also bored.
Yep. Well, it's 1811. They haven't even invented Fortnite yet.
Yep.
Well, time to go and catch a cold, then die.
I'll probably do the same. Have fun.
You see, in those days, the concept of a rock star just didn't exist. You had musicians, of course, and superstars like Mozart.
Are you doing another show about me?
No, we've done you.
Aww. You could do another one on me.
Go away, Mozart!
Fine.
I didn't know Mozart had a car. Anyway, there had never been a true rock star in music. And to show you what that means, we're going to give you a crash course in being a rock star, Franz Liszt style. We're calling this special mini-musical The School of Rock. What's that? There's already a musical called that. Oh, bother. We'll just have to call it something completely original. How about the Educational Institute of Rock? And now, please welcome our special guest, Franz Liszt.
Hey, what's up, baby?
I'm not a baby, I'm an adult man.
That's real groovy, baby. Now, I heard you want to know what it takes to be a rock star.
Yes, it will be great for our podcast.
What's a podcast?
Never mind.
Well, if you want to be a rock star like me, the first thing you'll need is music that drives people wild.
Like Justin Bieber. His music drives me up the wall.
I mean wild in a good way, man.
I knew that. Liszt started composing at the age of 8. By the way, have you noticed that all these famous composers started composing at such a young age? Have none of these guys ever heard of sitting around after school eating crisps and watching cartoons? Liszt grew up to be an incredible pianist. Some even say he was the greatest piano player that ever lived. Franz, play one of your bangers.
You got it, baby.
I'm not a baby.
Yeah, rock and roll.
First of all, that wasn't your song. 2, that was awful.
In my defense, I've been dead for like over 130 years, so I'm a bit rusty.
At Amazon, any time is a good time to shop low prices. Riding a bus,
That's a low price.
riding a train,
That's a low price.
or even riding a roller coaster.
That's a really low price.
Amazon, low prices anytime, anywhere.
Liszt liked to compose music that showcased his incredible musical dexterity. For example, his famous piece Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2 gets faster and faster and faster as it goes. didn't know I could play piano that well. Before you ask, yes, Hungarian Rhapsody was the inspiration for the name of the Queen song Bohemian Rhapsody. And before you ask again, of course I mean the band Queen and not the monarch.
Hello. But here's the thing, Daddy-O. Sweet tunes aren't enough. You're never going to be a true rock star unless you've got attitude.
Attitude? Like the people who are really gobby on the Jeremy Kyle show?
I mean swagger, edge, slickness, a crunch, a debo, a zebop, a taddly-too with a kazalaboo.
Pretty sure those last few aren't real words.
What I'm saying is you got to stand out, be original.
And Liszt definitely stood out. He redefined the role of a composer and performer, making it more about showmanship and attitude and less about sitting very still and looking sad. Until Liszt came along, most performers stood on stage like they'd been forced to go up there by their mum.
Now, come on, Ludwig van Beethoven. Get out there on stage.
But, Mom, I don't want to.
Ludwig, you're a 46-year-old man and all these people have paid to see you. Are you just going to let them down?
They're all boring. I don't want to do it.
If you do the performance, I'll give you a lolly.
Oh, fine. But it better be cola flavor.
That's my little middle-aged musical genius. Mwah!
Oh, Mom, gross.
By contrast, Liszt actually enjoyed himself on stage, and that enthusiasm was infectious. At one performance in January 1840, Liszt managed to whip the crowd up into such a frenzy that at the end of the show, he was presented with a jewel-encrusted sword as a reward. Actually, someone pulled out a sword at one of my early comedy gigs, but for different, more angry reasons. As well as the sword, he was given a spontaneous parade. There were 2 bands playing during the procession, but they literally couldn't be heard because the crowd was screaming so much.
But what's the point of whipping up a crowd if there's no crowd to whip up? If a rock star strums his guitar in the woods and no one is around to hear it, do they still rock?
What are you talking about, Liszt?
You need dedicated fans that go crazy for you. A rock star is defined by their fans.
During his touring years, which of course you'll all remember were 1839 to 1847, fans would go bonkers for Liszt. They would keep his discarded cigarette butts as souvenirs, and if one of his piano strings broke, they would grab it and turn it into a bracelet.
Merchandise! Get your unofficial Liszt merchandise here.
I love Liszt! I love Liszt! Tell me all the Liszt merch you've got to sell in your shop.
You mean my shopping list? Little joke there. Anyway, I've got some dirt from Liszt's shoe, a necklace made out of his toenail clippings, and this, a jar of his belly button fluff.
Yeah. I've got all that at his last gig. But have you got anything that's actually cool?
Let me see. Ah, yes. I have this painting of a turnip that Liszt once looked at.
He merely looked at it.
Yep, he didn't even touch it. He literally just glanced at it for about 2.5 seconds.
Perfect! Here's all my money.
Oh, pleasure doing business with you. Next.
Fans would even faint when Liszt performed.
Good evening, kid. I'm Franz Liszt, and here's a little piece that when translated means love dream. That's right. It's Liebestraum.
This woman's fainted.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Okay, I need more help. Another 12 people have fainted.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Oh, great. Now the entire audience has fainted.
Oh, boy.
Let's just say, if you thought One Direction fans were intense, you should have seen Listomania. And that's actually what it was called, Listomania. One critic who witnessed one of Fran's concerts said,
How convulsively his mere appearance affected them. What a claim it was. A veritable insanity.
Which is an olden times way of saying,
OMG. These fangirls were like totes hyped for this Liszt guy. It was like lit.
Yeah, one time a fan got so overwhelmed by the magnitude of my genius that she literally burst into flames.
Did that actually happen?
Well, no, but I am great.
I know. Now, what else can we teach our students at the Educational Institution of Rock?
You need to break boundaries. Be controversial. You need to think outside the box, man. In fact, you need to jump out of the box and throw the box in the ocean and then run away. And if anyone says to you, hey, where'd that box go? You say, poo off.
Right. So you're saying you need to be edgy.
You better believe it, baby.
Liszt did know how to ruffle feathers. After a show in 1881, critic Eduard Hanslick called his performance a musical monstrosity and described it as a bloody battle against all that is musical, which sounds pretty rock and roll if you ask me. The weird thing is that he was saying that about music that sounds like this. That's Mephisto Waltz No. 1. Not shocking in a Kanye West kind of way, but hey, these were simpler times.
Those critics were all squares. They had no idea what it really means to be a performer.
Here's a secret as well. Despite his shocking style, Liszt was actually a pretty decent bloke. He donated most of his performance fees to schools, hospitals, and other charitable causes.
It's like I always say, live, laugh, love. Ooh, I should put that on a poster.
Excuse me, Mr. Liszt. I'm a big fan.
Oh, another one.
Would you mind signing me butter churn?
How did you get a butter churn in the studio?
Sure, I'll sign it. Let me just grab my quill.
This is eating up a lot of my airtime.
And now I'll just slowly dip my quill into this ink pot.
We have a lot of music to cover in this episode, and people probably want to hear more of my voice.
And now I'll just very carefully sign my name.
Didn't have this problem with Mozart.
There you go, my friends.
Thank you, Mr. Liszt.
Anytime, baby.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
You're cleaning that up. Like any rock star worth his salt, Liszt loved to party hard. But this would often clash with his more serious life as a performer. On one occasion, Liszt drank so much champagne that he had to be dragged back to his hotel room by friends. This was made worse by the fact that he had to perform a concert the next day.
With friends.
I don't know. It's the 1800s. I have bigger things to worry about, like wondering if they'll ever invent fidget spinners.
Supposed to be on stage in 30 minutes.
But it'd be great if while we're waiting, I could fiddle with some sort of spinner. Do you know what I mean? Wait, what's that sound?
Liszt? Liszt!
Liszt, wake up! You're supposed to be at a show.
Good morning, how's things?
You need to be on stage in 30 minutes, man. Come on! Okay, we made it.
Lovely. Well, I'm just going to have a quick nap before I go on stage.
No, get on that stage.
All right, don't get your knickers in a twist, man.
Despite his condition, Liszt went on to give one of the greatest performances of his life, with fellow composer Hector Berlioz commenting that Liszt played
as I do not think he has ever played before in his life. Verily, there is a God for pianists.
Yeah, I remember that day well. It was a bit cloudy and I played the piano.
doesn't really narrow it down, does it?
Sorry, yeah. I was wearing clothes.
That's not any narrower. But you know what? I think I'm getting the hang of things here. I reckon I'm ready to be a rock star.
I doubt it. You're still missing a crucial ingredient.
What's that? A leather jacket? Because I've got one coming in the post. I paid extra for fast delivery.
The thing you require is an obsession with death.
How did you make your voice all echoey like that?
I have no idea. Oh no, it's still going.
Are you all right?
Help! I can't make it stop. Oh, wait, it stopped. I didn't just wet myself, if that's what you're thinking. I spilled soup on myself earlier. That's what this is, not we.
Liszt was a morbid bloke. He was a bit obsessed with death and hell, you know, light-hearted topics. Lots of his pieces refer to this in their titles. For example, his Totentanz, or Dance of Death. I actually wrote some lyrics to this. I am a spooky ghost. I love to spook people. My best friend is a ghost dog. His name is Chris. He loves ghost bones.
Stop it! What are you doing to my masterpiece?
Improving it.
We're almost there. There's just one last thing you'll need to be a true rock star.
And what's that?
It's pretty simple. No big deal.
What is it?
Unbridled musical genius.
I've got that. Watch me play this triangle.
Impressive. You really know how to shred the heck out of that thing.
Well, I've been practicing a lot.
It seems my work here is done. Been a real cool ride, man. I'll never forget you, Damien.
David.
Whatever.
Well, that's our show. Why don't you play us out, Franz?
You got it, baby.
I am not a baby.
Get ready to rock!
I mean, play out with one of your pieces. What about Un Sospiro? It means a sigh, which feels pretty relatable right now.
Nice idea.
Recordings of Liszt's music were used courtesy of Sony, Classic FM, Warner Classics, BIS, Chandos and Hyperion. You can find out more about all the wonderful pieces you heard at classicfm.com. David Walliams' marvellous musical podcast was written by Benedict Townsend with further material by the Dawson brothers. Additional characters were voiced by Ruth Bratt, Mike Wozniak, Nadia Carmel, Colin Holt, Carrie-Ad Lloyd and Guy Harris. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Next time, we'll be taking you inside the piano to discover how this plinky-plonky marvel changed the world of music forever. We'll lay out the whole story for you in black and white.
I didn't just wet myself, if that's what you're thinking. I spilled soup on myself earlier. That's what this is, not we.